Hey YouTube, it's the Olive Wood Piper here, Carl. It's been a while since I made a video. I thought I'd spend some time with you today. The title of this video is An Experiment Gone Awry, and I'll explain that very shortly. I wanted to try and do an Ohm Paul pipe, which, if most of you are familiar with them, have a very radical type of drilling, and it's a very odd kind of drilling, and if you don't do it correctly, you have a problem, as I did. So anyway, here's the pipe that I did, and you can see it's got a big long stem, kind of like a long church warden. Well, if you look right here, I don't know if you can see it. You see a little bit of a patch job there. And what happened was, when I did the pipe, I drilled it properly, everything was great. And then I needed to just create this little separation between the two parts. And when I did that, I actually went through the drill. And I was not happy about it, but this was an experiment. It really wasn't for anyone. It was really, actually, I smoke it and it smokes great. So I did patch it up with a little olive wood dust and some glue, some wood glue, and it works really well. So anyway, but I mean, you're never going to learn if you don't try. So I've learned something now, and the next time around I'll be a little bit more careful. So I wanted to show you a couple of pipes that I have done lately. I did put them on Instagram, but some of you may not be on Instagram. I just wanted to show you. This is a mortar with a nice turquoise stem. I don't know if it's coming out really well here, but nice little poker, and it's got a matching tamper. Also made out of mortar. And the next pipe is a olive wood, kind of like a bent apple, and with a real nice stem. I really like the color of this this stem. It brings out the olive wood really well. So nice, came out nice little pipe, nice grain on it. And then lastly, I've got this, which is kind of like a little calabash. I was playing around with the design. It's got an interesting stem on it, kind of like a purple and blue and black, pretty attractive. So that's the pipes. Last time when I spoke, I talked about my job in the mattress factory, and I left that job because I wanted to make a little bit more money, and actually a friend of mine his dad owned a limousine service. So here I was, 19 years old, driving around in a Cadillac limousine, and I had 3 jobs that that stood out to me, that were the kind of things you only read about in a book. First one, I was supposed to take Peter Max, who was in the 60s and I guess early 70s, was a famous artist. And I was supposed to take him to a Rolling Stones concert at Madison Square Garden. I was supposed to pick him up, take him to the concert. After the concert, I was supposed to take him to a private party with the Rolling Stones. So I thought, this is going to be fantastic. This is great. Maybe I can weasel my way into the party, whatever. But so I'm on my way to pick up Peter Max, and I'm in the Brooklyn. I'm just ready to enter the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel toll, and I see all kinds of smoke. You know, where cars are all lined up, so I don't know where it's coming from. And I'm thinking, man, somebody's got a real problem. You know, smoke is just billowing. And the next thing I know, some guy rolls down his window and is motioning to me that it's my vehicle that's smoking. So I pull over to the side of the road, and the water hose had exploded. And now I got a problem. By the way, there's no cell phones. This is before cell phones. Fortunately, I was at the tunnel entrance, so I was able to make a phone call to my boss. My boss had to get another limo out on the job. And needless to say, I never got to take Peter Max. I never got to go to a after party with the Rolling Stones or whatever. And in fact, my boss showed up that night with another water hose, and we changed it in the dark. And then at about midnight, we went to a diner and had a bagel and coffee. So that was that experience. Kind of a bummer. The second one was I was going to take up the bride and the bridesmaids to the wedding, to the church. So I was the bridal car. So I pull up to the address. I have plenty of time, no problem. I'm early. I figured I'd wait. So finally I go up to the door. I knock on the door, and a guy answers the door dressed in a tuxedo, who I assume was the bride's father. And I hear all kinds of screaming and crying and everything in the background, and I thought, oh my God, what the hell happened, And he's not in a very good mood, and he's pretty gruff with me, and I said, I'm here to pick up the bride and the bridesmaids, for the wedding. He told me there isn't going to be any GD wedding. And I thought, well, what? And he said the pretty much let me know the groom backed out, and he slammed the door in my face. I thought, oh my God, yeah. So I called my boss again. I said, got a little problem. Explained it to him. He said to me, just come back. Don't worry about it. The last one, in this vehicle, this limo that I drove, we used to have a wedding horn. So when we had the bride and the bridesmaids in the car, you would flick the switch, and it would go through a cycle of here comes the bride, here comes the bride, and it would go through this whole cycle, and then if you flip the switch again, it would start again. But it was a pretty good cycle, and while you were driving through the streets, everybody's waving, clapping, the whole bit. Well, we also used this limousine for funerals. So I was on a job, which was a funeral, and I had the family car, which was the family of the deceased, and they're in my limo, and we had gone to church, and we come out of the church, and I put the family in the vehicle, and we're heading to the cemetery. We pull into the cemetery, and we're on our way to the gravesite, and my knee hits the switch for the wedding cycle. So now I'm driving through a cemetery playing a wedding song. I thought the people in the car were going to kill me. I was so worried. I turned around and I apologized profusely, and they were, thank God, they were nice people, and they said, oh, don't worry about it. But we had to struggle and listen to this whole cycle of a wedding song as we were driving behind a hearse to a gravesite. I mean, you'll never forget these things. These instances, are things that are etched in your mind. Even as you get older, you look back and you say, my God, how did I go through some of that stuff? Well, anyway, I don't want to make this too long. Next, while I was driving the limo, I also hooked up with another job, which was kind of interesting. It was kind of like an on-call job. So when they needed an extra guy or someone to replace somebody who was ill or something like that, they would call me, and I would go in. So that was kind of an interesting job. But I'll talk about that next time. So for now, you all take care. As always, I wish you health and happiness to you and yours. God bless you. See you soon. Bye.